Sami made his dream famous before he made it real. He told everyone about the life he was going to build. But when the day came to show his work, he had nothing in his hands except promises. Sami was 30 years old, and in his small town, people knew him as a man with big plans. He wanted to open a leather workshop, not a small, ordinary shop. He wanted to make beautiful handmade bags, belts, and wallets. He wanted his name to be respected. He wanted people to say, Sami built something with his own hands. And the truth was, Sami had talent. When he touched leather, he could imagine what it could become. His hands were careful. His eyes understood shape and detail. Even old craftsmen in the town knew he had skill. But Sami had one dangerous weakness. He loved talking about his future more than building it. Every morning, he walked through the market road with excitement in his voice. One day, I will open the best leather shop in this town, he told the fruit seller. I already have the name, he told the barber. I know the exact design people will love, he told his friends at the tea shop. I will not stay ordinary forever, he said to anyone who would listen. And people listened. They smiled. They praised him. Sami, you are going to be successful. Sami, your idea is powerful. Sami, when you become rich, do not forget us. Every compliment made Sami feel taller. Every word of praise made him feel closer to success. But when he returned home at night, his work table told the truth. A few pieces of leather, one unfinished wallet, some drawings, dust on the tools. His dream looked alive in his mouth, but weak in his hands. Deep inside, Sami was not only lazy, he was insecure. He had spent many years feeling invisible. When he passed through the market, people saw him as just another poor young man with old shoes and empty pockets. But when he talked about his future, people looked at him differently. They listened. They smiled. They respected him for a moment. That feeling became addictive. Praise made him feel important before he had earned importance. Attention made him feel successful before he had built success. So he kept talking. He talked when he should have been cutting leather. He talked when he should have been practicing stitches. He talked when he should have been saving money. He talked until his dream became famous in the town, but still unfinished in his room. One evening, Sami sat at the tea shop with 3 young men. Rain had just stopped. The market road was wet, and the smell of warm tea filled the air. Sami placed his drawings on the wooden table. Look, he said proudly, this is my first bag design. Simple, strong, beautiful. I will sell it before the summer festival. The young men leaned closer. One of them was named Rafik. Rafik was quiet, but his eyes were sharp. He did not speak much, but he watched everything carefully. He looked at the design and said, this is good. Sami smiled. Good? This will change everything. I already know the supplier. I know the price. I know the color people want. I even know where I will place my stand at the festival. Then he spoke more. Too much. He shared the supplier's name. He shared the leather price. He shared the bag design. He shared the shop name he wanted to use. The others praised him, and Sami enjoyed every second. At a nearby table, an old shoemaker named Master Idris listened quietly. Master Idris was nearly 70. His hands were rough from years of work, and his small shop smelled of leather, rain, and old wood. When Sami stood to leave, Master Idris called him. Sami. Yes, master? The old man looked at the drawings in Sami's hand. Have you already made the bag? Sami smiled weakly. Not yet. Have you bought enough leather? Soon. Have you rented the stand? Not yet, but I have a plan. Master Idris looked at him for a long moment. Then, why are you letting everyone clap for a house that has no walls? Sami laughed a little. I am not asking them to clap. I am just sharing my plans. Master Idris's face became serious. Be careful, Sami. Attention is not progress. Sami's smile faded. The old man continued. Promises can make you look successful before you have become successful. Sami felt uncomfortable. He thanked the old man politely and walked away, but he did not listen. The next day, he talked even more. He told people about his dream because praise made him feel brave. He told people about his plans because silence made him feel ordinary. Weeks passed. The summer festival came closer. The town became busy. Shops cleaned their windows. Bakers prepared sweet bread. Tailors displayed new clothes. Sellers painted their wooden signs. Everywhere, people were preparing. Sami kept saying, "My bags will be ready soon." But his first bag was still unfinished. The stitches were uneven. The shape was wrong. The leather was not enough. He had spent many hours talking about the work, but not enough hours doing the work. Then, one bright morning, Sami entered the market and stopped walking. A new wooden stand had appeared near the main road. Above it was a fresh painted sign, Meratic Leathercraft. Hanging from the stand were handmade bags. Simple, strong, beautiful, and one of them looked almost exactly like Sami's drawing. Sami's chest tightened. People crowded around the stand. "This design is wonderful," one woman said. "This color is perfect," another said. Meratic smiled as he sold the first bag. Then the second. Then the third. Sami stood far away, unable to move. Then a man beside him looked at the bags and laughed softly. "Sami, wasn't this the design you kept talking about?" Another man said, "Yes." He explained the whole plan before making even one bag. Someone else added, "Maybe talking is easier than working." The words hit Sami harder than the rain. He wanted to shout, "That was my idea." But the words stayed inside his throat, because deep down, he knew the painful truth. Meratic had copied part of the idea, but Sami had also betrayed himself. Meratic had worked while Sami talked. Meratic had built while Sami announced. Meratic had brought finished bags to the market, while Sami brought only promises. That evening, Sami returned home and sat at his dusty table. The unfinished wallet lay in front of him. The drawings were scattered around. For the first time, they did not look powerful. They looked sad. He whispered, "How did I lose something I had not even built?" Rain began to fall outside. Drop by drop, it hit the roof like a slow reminder. Sami covered his face with his hands. He was angry at Meratic, but he was more ashamed of himself. The next morning, he went to Master Idris's old shop. The old man was repairing a pair of shoes near the window. Golden light touched the tools on his table. Sami stood quietly at the door. Master Idris did not look surprised. "You look like a man whose mouth ran faster than his hands," the old man said. Sami lowered his head. "He copied my idea." Master Idris nodded slowly. "Maybe." Sami looked up. "Maybe?" The old man put down his needle. "Yes, maybe he copied it. But tell me, Sami, if you had already built your dream, could he have taken your place so easily?" Sami had no answer. Master Idris pointed to a small clay pot near the window. Inside it was a young plant. "Do you see this plant?" "Yes, it was once a seed," the old man said. "When I planted it, I did not dig it up every morning to show the neighbors. I did not shout, 'Look, my seed will become a tree.' I covered it. I watered it. I protected it." He looked into Sami's eyes. "A dream is like a seed. If you keep digging it up to show everyone, it will never grow." Sami swallowed hard. Master Idris continued, "Some dreams need protection before exposure. Praise can weaken hunger. Criticism can kill courage. And the wrong people can use what you reveal." Sami looked down. "I thought talking would motivate me." "Sometimes it does," said Master Idris. "But often, people enjoy the reward before earning it. The mind hears praise and thinks, 'I have already done something.' Then the hunger becomes weak." The words entered Sami's heart. The old man said one final thing. Do not let applause for your plans replace the pain of real work. Protect your dream while it is still weak. That day, Sami made a decision. No more speeches, no more explaining, no more announcing every step, no more begging people to see him as successful before he had built anything. He went home and cleaned his table. He sharpened his tools. He counted his leather. He threw away the designs he was not ready to finish and chose one simple product. A wallet. Nothing big, nothing impressive. Just one wallet made well. When friends asked, "Sami, what are you working on now?" he smiled and said, "Just working." When people asked, "When will you open your shop?" he said, "When the work is ready." At first, silence felt painful. Without praise, he felt small. Without attention, he felt invisible. Without telling everyone his plans, he had to face the truth of his progress. And the truth was not beautiful. His stitches were weak. His hands were slow. His money was little. His discipline was poor. At this time, instead of hiding behind words, he worked. Every morning, before the market opened, Sami sat by the window and practiced stitching. Every night, while the town slept, he worked under a small lamp. Rain touched the roof, wind moved the curtain. His fingers became sore. Sometimes, the needle slipped and cut his skin. Sometimes, he ruined a piece of leather and wanted to throw everything away. Some days, he wanted to run back to the tea shop and say, "I am working hard now. Please notice me." But he stopped himself. He remembered the seed. He remembered the plant. He remembered the shame of seeing his dream in another man's hands. Weeks passed. His first wallet was poor. His second was better. His third was cleaner. Then one morning, Sami took 5 wallets to the market. He placed them on a small cloth near the old fountain. For 2 hours, no one bought anything. Then a woman picked up one wallet, turned it over, and frowned. "The stitches are not strong enough," she said. A young man nearby laughed. Maybe he should go back to talking. He was better at that. Sami felt his face burn. For a moment, he wanted to pack everything and disappear. The old shame returned. The voice inside him whispered, "You failed again." But then he heard Master Idris's words in his mind. Do not let applause for your plans replace the pain of real work. Sami did not argue. He did not explain. He took the wallets home. That night, he pulled the stitches out and started again. Slowly, his hands became steady. Slowly, his table became full. Not with drawings, not with promises, with finished work. One day, Master Idris visited him. He picked up one of Sami's wallets and turned it in his rough hands. "This is honest work," he said. Sami's eyes softened. "That means more than praise." Master Idris smiled. "Good. Now you are learning." 3 months later, the autumn market arrived. This time, Sami did not announce anything. He did not tell the whole town. He did not promise greatness. He simply rented a small wooden table near the old fountain and placed his work on it. Wallets, belts, 2 bags. All handmade, all simple, all finished. People passed by. Some stopped. Some touched the leather. Some asked the price. Then an older man bought a wallet. A young woman bought a belt. A traveler bought one of the bags. By sunset, most of the table was empty. Sami stood quietly behind his work. His heart was full, but his mouth was calm. Then Rafik walked by. He looked at the table. He looked at the clean stitches. He looked at the people buying. For a moment, he said nothing. Then he whispered, "You changed." Sami looked at him. "Yes. You used to tell everyone everything." "I know. What happened?" Sami looked at his hands. They were marked with small cuts from months of practice. Then he looked at the finished products on the table. "I learned that people should hear your success from your results, not from your mouth." Rafik had no answer. That evening, Sami walked home as the sun turned the town golden. The market road was still noisy behind him. But inside, he felt quiet. Not empty quiet, strong quiet. For the first time, he understood that silence was not weakness. Silence was protection. Silence was focus. Silence was where weak dreams became strong. Months later, Sami opened a small leather workshop. It was not large. It was not perfect. The sign was simple. The shelves were handmade. The floor was old, but every item inside was real. Not promised, not announced, real. People came to the shop and said, "Sami, you surprised us." He smiled. He no longer needed to explain everything. He no longer needed early praise. He no longer needed people to clap for a dream that had no walls. His work introduced him. One evening, a young man came into the shop holding a notebook. "Sami," the young man said, "I have a big plan. I want to tell everyone so they will encourage me." Sami looked at him and remembered himself. The tea shop, the drawings, the carpet idea, the empty table, the shame. Then he gently said, "Share your dream with people who can help you build it. But do not give your dream to every ear." The young man listened carefully. Sami picked up a small leather seed pouch from his table and placed it in the young man's hand. "A dream grows best in silence," Sami said, "like a seed under the soil. You protect it, you water it, you work on it. Then one day, people see the tree." The young man nodded. Sami looked out through the window. The sunset was warm. The road was quiet. And for the first time, he was grateful. That life had humbled him before it was too late. My perspective on this story is simple. Many people do not lose their dreams because they have no talent. They lose them because they talk too much before doing enough. They announce the dream. They explain the plan. They enjoy the compliments. They feel important for a moment. But attention is not progress. A promise is not a result, and praise is not proof. Sometimes your dream is still too weak to be exposed to everyone. Some people may copy it. Some may laugh at it. Some may discourage you. Some may distract you. But sometimes, the biggest danger is not other people. It is the false reward inside your own mind. Because when people praise your plan, you may start feeling successful before you have become successful. So protect your dream while it is still growing. Work when nobody is clapping. Practice when nobody is watching. Build when nobody is praising you. Let the roots grow deep before you show the tree. Because some dreams do not die because they are impossible. They die because they were exposed too early and built too slowly. Let people hear your success from your results, not from your mouth. Comment below. What is one dream you need to protect and work on silently? Don't forget to subscribe to Meratic Tales for more simple English stories with deep life lessons. Until next time, stay calm, stay grateful, and keep moving forward in life.